First, we're going to position our coordinate system in the top middle. From the drop-down list, pick the top middle, hit the auto setup. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to create pockets out of these holes. So I'm going to cap them. And I'm going to go with surface, standard, plane, arc, circle, or curve. So we're going to use a circle. And I'm going to discriminate circles. Alright, now our cutter is not going to drop down in the holes. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our stock. So I'm just going to use a curve from silhouette boundary. And next I'm going to blank all surfaces and geometry. Now I do want to work with the geometry from the curve, so we're going to turn the curve into geometry. And if you'd like, we can hide the curve. Now from geometry, I'm going to use offset. We're going to make the stock 1/4 inch bigger than the actual geometry here. Now we're going to use trim and extend. I'm going to use snap to all. Pick the end point. Okay, and we don't need any additional geometry, so I'm just going to wipe this out. Try not to clutter up the screen too bad. So we'll go to our curve. We're going to go to a new curve, and we're going to call this stock CRV so that we can use the custom stock in our stock setup. And by naming it stock CRV, it knows to use the curve as the custom stock. Now we're going to let the 3D machining wizard handle the rest. I'm going to let the path offset. I'm going to let the tool over travel. This represents our curve. I'm going to let the back side of the tool, the diameter, over travel. We'll use a 1-inch diameter cutter, and we'll leave 10 thousandths for finish. We'll be aggressive on our step, and we'll leave a step finish. So the step finish is not going to cut the entire block, but come up against the walls and clean up the wall. So we can be kind of a small step there. And verify. Okay, now we need to add the path. I forgot to do that, so we're just going to click on the path button, or I could go into the operation. We're just going to add that path, change things up again. and a rapid cut. See, we have our 35,000 step up against the slope. Now we'll go in and do a remachine so we can get into these corners. If I measure the corner, let's cancel that, measure the corner. It's a 1/4 of an inch in through here. That's the radius. So we'll go back to the wizard. And we get the tool path in through the corners in this narrow region. Now we left 10 thousandths on our flat surfaces and on our slope. So I'm going to go back into the wizard and we'll go finish flats. Choose the 3D equidistant toolpath. Change our surface angle to 0 so we only cut flat horizontal surfaces. Let's go in and measure. Maybe we'll use a bullnose tool. We could go back in and do a 3D machine on that. Let's just measure what that radius represents. So we can use a 1/4 inch cutter, a 1/4 inch. We'll go back in and we'll use that as a secondary op. Now cut our flat surfaces. Maybe we want to exclude the top, so you do that by going to Add Machining Surfaces. Select the 2 upper flats, enter, they become check surfaces. Okay, now we'll machine our taper and the radius in the corner. Now we're going to add machining surfaces and select only those that we want to machine. Click on the screen to change my choice. And everything else becomes a check surface. You can see the machining surfaces disappeared. And you want the tool to be aware of the surrounding surfaces. That's what a check surface does for you. Now we'll do a rapid cut. Let's go in and we'll take and use a tighter step over. Now we'll take and do a profile pass. We haven't done anything with the vertical walls. So now we're going to go in and make a contour operation, but I like to make my curve active, so we come down to the bottom button and we're going to make this our active curve. Go to contour. It knows to use the active curve. I should get a depth on that. We'll come back to it. Finish allowance is 0. Left for climb mill. We use an automatic lead in and lead out. And it's 1.5 inches deep. You can see this is where the toolpath heads into. So what we'll do is you can either reverse the curve or reverse the toolpath. I'll just reverse the curve. Now we'll cut the pockets. Select circles. I'm picking the bottom so that it'll automatically calculate the depth for me. Maybe we'll go a little deeper on that. Change that from a ball and mill here to a flat. It's good to see a mistake every now and then. You can see how to change it. Now if I change my stock, let's see the stock, let's go side view. Okay, it's 2.5 inches deep, that's right. So when we do the other side, we'll be sure to cut the pockets appropriately. So that takes care of the top side. Now we're going to go in, add a new coordinate system. And we're going to use the current location, so I'm just going to type in 0, 0, 0, enter. So now I need to rotate the coordinate system, edit, rotate around X 180 degrees on Z0. Be sure to pick the coordinate system out of the list box, because we don't want to rotate our part. Okay, now we're going to hide all of our curves. We'll hide this geometry too. Clean things up a little bit. Okay. Now we'll cap this side just like we did the other. Go to our machining wizard, and it becomes redundant. So we'll call this bottom rough. I like to label it the work steps bottom or top so I can activate, deactivate them in the list box accordingly. Diameter. Okay, you can see our tool path. Because of using the tool diameter as the offset, I want to stop. We've already machined this area. So now I'm going to stop the tool right here at this depth, which is a -1 inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the bottom limit as -1 inch. And you can see all of our operations have come together quite nicely. So now all I need to do is finish this section in through here. Now we'll do the 3D equidistant flat surface finish. Okay, all that is left to finish are these fillets on the radius. So we'll go back to a finish operation on the bottom. Let's just make sure our fillet radius is the same as the last one. And it is. We'll use a 1/4 inch ball end mill. Again with the bottom. This part is complete, both sides. Now if I was to post my G-code, I would turn off all of my bottom operations just by right mouse clicking on the list box here and go to post, and it would post code for that side. Turn these back on and turn the others off. Now you could do that in the spreadsheet as well. You can use the shift key, click on the left side here, shift, right mouse click, activate work steps, and deactivate work steps. And that concludes this 3D training.